it ends up creating a whole new rung of opportunities for the people in that community. Like some of that money goes to, like youth leagues and churches and like nonprofits, and creates jobs right there in that community. One of the examples I use is like if you're in a town in Missouri with 50,000 people, and let's say you really like to bake, but starting a bakery is a dumb idea because people just do not have money in that town to buy your baked goods. But then I pump $60 million a year into that economy, and a lot of that just circulates right there in that town. Then if I start a bakery, it's a good idea. And I know if my bakery fails, I'm not going to die. I can at least go home and get my dividend. And then if I go to other people and say, hey, you want to like help me out with this, then they also think it's a better idea than they would have. So the money is not the solution. The money helps set the stage for the solutions. So does the measurements. So does because right now, if like you don't even know that your life expectancy is declining, that's kind of hard to solve that problem. So if you say, look, this is actually how we measure how we're doing, and then you go in and say, okay, like local government, NGO, entrepreneur, because right now, like our entrepreneurs, none of our entrepreneurs are working on trying to make that dude's life better. Right now, it's like that's not.
You can only do so much. Most entrepreneurs are just trying to succeed. I mean, it's very difficult to start a business, right? And then actually have it work out well. The idea that they're going to look out for truck drivers.
It's not realistic. But it at least we can start moving ourselves in that general direction if we start, because as a CEO, you know this, you make what you measure. Mm-hmm. You're not measuring it, you have no chance.
Right.
If you start measuring it, you at least start to open up the chance. But what you're saying is the most profound, which is like we need to reconstitute meaning for many, many Americans.
Yeah.
And that's what, to me, the most destructive aspect of the, again, like the mental health indicators and like the suicides and the rest of it is like there's a real loss of meaning for many, many people here in this country.
Well, obviously we're talking about a large scale, but if you go back to the time before trucks and truck drivers, that was not a viable occupation. It wasn't something people did, but yet they still found a way to occupy their time. Do you think that there needs to be some sort of an education and some sort of a method of explaining to young people in particular that you have to think of something to do because most of the things that you think you can do won't exist? So we have to think of what are the other possibilities and be creative and do something with your life that only a human being can do, which is a really weird way to think about it because most of the things you used to be able to think that a human being could do for a living are now going to be done by robots. But I think there's a giant gap between the understanding that you have and the understanding that the average person has. And this could be a real problem in trying to expand this platform.
Well, we have to inform people. I gotta tell you though, Joe, when I say this to people, they're like, "That makes perfect sense."
Yeah, it does make perfect sense. That's what's scary about it. But I'm not disagreeing with you in any way, shape, or form. I'm just thinking, man, for young kids,
and you're a parent, I'm a parent. But so our education system has a lot to be desired.